Yo, what is going on, everyone? It is GentooMan here, also known as Rainy, and so I just started uploading again, and one of the videos I put up like a couple days ago just fucking blew up and went from like 50 views to over 1,000 in like overnight, which is wild. So I've got a story of a similar vein for you guys today. I'm going to make it a little less clickbaity this time. This is more of a funny story than anything else, so yeah, let's hop into it. This story time takes place back when I was in high school. It was my last year of high school. And any OGs on this channel you might remember from some of my old story times that, oh shit, I just dropped something, whatever. Some of you guys might remember that I had a French class in my last year of high school, where I was the only guy in that class. And the reason that I find it important to mention that is because I was the only guy in that class. Everyone else was a girl. My teacher didn't like me very much because my teacher was also a girl. And I'll be honest with you guys, I screw around sometimes, but not that much. I was a lot more past my hooligan phase at this point. But my point is my teacher didn't like me all that much. So because I was the only guy in this class, that kind of meant I didn't have a lot of friends in the class. There was one girl I hung out with. We're going to call her Emily. And I hung out with Emily because Emily was friends with my girlfriend. That's how I knew her. And she was kind of like the teacher's favorite student. She'd try and like piggyback off my thing and say like, oh, like the teacher doesn't like me either, but teacher loved her. She was like the teacher's favorite student. So yeah, I hung out with Emily. I sat with her, and that was fun for the most part. You know, we're not really friends anymore in this day and age. We don't talk, but we had some good times in this class. One thing to know about Emily, though, is Emily, there's a Starbucks, or there was a Starbucks, like right near our school, right? So like every morning, Emily would show up with something from Starbucks, but she wouldn't have like a coffee or anything. It was usually like those like juices that Starbucks has, and she'd get the really fucking big one. Like it might have been like venti, or is there a bigger one? I don't fucking know. I have an aneurysm every time I try and order something at Starbucks. And she'd drink this shit fast too, because she'd get it and she'd like have it when we were like all hanging out in the hallways before classes start, and then she'd just like finish that shit before even starting class. So as it happens, that's exactly what she did. We went into school one day. We were kind of all just hanging out in the hallway because we kind of had like a group that we'd hang out with in the morning. It was like me, my girlfriend, Emily, and a couple other people we knew. Then the bell rang and it was time to go to class, and me and Emily had our French class. So, you know, we say goodbye to our friends. I say goodbye to my girlfriend. We go our separate ways. I start walking with Emily to this class, and she's just chugging her fucking Starbucks juice. And keep in mind, this shit's basically full, right? Like, she's taking a couple sips, and she just chugs the entire thing and finishes it before we even get to the next class. But I mean, like, hey, to each their own. So she finishes it, throws it out, and we step into French class. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really remember what the hell we were talking about in French class. It's not really a day that I remember the subject matter all that well. I think we were like learning about French songs, like some French song competition or some shit like that. But not that long into the class, Emily had to go to the bathroom, which makes sense because she chugged an entire fucking Starbucks drink. But our French teacher was like pretty strict on when she'd let you go to the washroom. It had to be like a specific time, and like she had to be feeling like it, and she had to be in a good mood. Even though Emily was like her favorite student, it was like, you know, she was really particular about it. Probably like 20 or 30 minutes go by, and Emily's like dying next to me. She really has to go to the washroom. She like won't stop talking about it. It's kind of fucking annoying, but she knows that she's not going to be able to go until finally the teacher stops talking, hands out a worksheet, and Emily asks if she can go to the washroom, and she goes. So Emily goes off to the washroom. The rest of the class is pretty quiet because the teacher asked us to quietly work on this worksheet. So, you know, we're doing that. I'm just sitting there going through this sheet, probably fucking it all up, you know me, until suddenly we hear this like buzzing noise. And now my French teacher was like super strict about like phones in the class, right? So we hear a buzzing noise. We're like 99% sure it's a phone. So she looks up and she's like, whose phone is that? Like, put your phone away. And everyone kind of just looks at each other. And the teacher's like, oh, so it's no one's phone? Like, whose phone is it? Turn it off and put it away. And we're just kind of like it's no one's phone, like it's none of ours. So I'm kind of sitting there, right? And I'm trying to like think, and I'm trying to like locate the sound. And eventually I realized the buzzing is coming from Emily's backpack, which she left like next to her desk when she went to the bathroom. So finally I look at the teacher and I'm like, hey, I think the phone is inside Emily's backpack. I think she's left her phone in her backpack, and I think it's going off. And the teacher was like, can you like just reach in and shut it off, please? It's very distracting for the rest of the class. So I'm like, okay, sure, I can do that. That's exactly what I did. I thought, like, hey, like, we're friends. It doesn't really matter. Like, I can just reach in and, like, turn off her phone really quick. It's nothing. So I do that. I unzip her backpack. I pull it towards me. And I start reaching for the phone. And, like, a backpack's not very big, so I find it pretty quickly. Although it is not a phone. And if you read the title of this, you probably know what it was. But it was sort of purplish with butterflies on it, in a banana cucumber-y type shape, and it was vibrating. Purple butterflies vibrating. I think you know what that means. So I very quickly turn that shit off, close Emily's bag, and push it to the side. And when Emily gets back from the bathroom, I lean over to her and I start whispering. And I just kind of tell her, I'm like, dude, I just had to touch your fucking vibrator. Like, what the fuck? Why do you have that in your bag? And she starts, like, silently laughing, but, like, you can tell she's embarrassed. And I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? What's going on? Like, why do you have that? And she's like, she's still laughing. She's like, just like, shut up. I'll tell you about it later. And I'm like, okay, sure, I guess. And so I go the rest of the class and just kind of, finish out the worksheet. Bell rings, and me and Emily step outside the class to go to the next one. And I just kind of look at her and I'm like, okay, what the fuck? And she just kind of looks at me and she's like, I'm going to my boyfriend's after school. So I just, gotta be prepared. And I'm like, oh my God, just like, you should probably make sure that shit's not going off in class. And she like kind of like hits me a little. She's like, you think I did that on purpose? Like, you think I wanted that to happen? I'm like, okay, fair enough. And, we kind of just let that be that. The next day in French class, Emily showed up with a chocolate bar for me with a sticky note on it that said, sorry, you had to touch my vibrator. So that was funny. Chocolate bars are dope. And yeah, it was just kind of a funny story. And I thought you guys would like to hear it. So yeah, that's that. Anyways, you guys, that is going to do it for this video, the story time. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. You all know the drill at this point. Thank you all so much for watching and still being here despite my inconsistency. Well, like I said, one of my recent videos just fucking blew up. That's awesome to see. That's actually fucking crazy. Thank you guys so much for that. I hope to keep growing this channel. I think we just passed 600 subs. That's dope. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Later.